The Inspiring You Show. If we haven't met, I'm Henry. All right, friends, this is the Cancer new moon, and the theme is returning to the inner shoreline, the body as the first home. And so this is the new moon in Cancer on June 25th, 2025. And part of this is a light transmission from Oversoul Sahariel through and with soul aligned higher self Aureliá with the collective guidance light team. And this is held within the wave of becoming, the tri wave harmonic arc. And at this time, we're in the compression phase, the emotional reconstitution portal. And if you are wondering, what is the wave of becoming? I have spoken to it about it in a few podcasts, but if you want to learn more of the information is on the Inspiring You Patreon, and there is a free element on there where you can read about it, but then there is a ton more information in the all access level as well as the meditate with me levels, and we also do meditations connected to it as well. All right, let's get into this Cancer new moon. The Cancer new moon opens not with an emotional flood, but with a sacred softening, an inner spiral into emotional intelligence as embodied frequency. It is not a regression into familiar emotional tides, but a reclamation of inner waters as light truth carriers. So, this lunation marks a turning point of feeling where emotional resonance becomes magnetic architecture of the new life forming within you. Where June at times has been dismantling, this new moon is the sacral space creation of the new pattern. Cancer, as the keeper of memory and protector of the inner child, now steps forth not to cocoon, but to offer permission to reparent, to rehouse, to rehome your soul light in a body that now holds more coherence. And so you're not being asked to feel more, but to feel differently through clarity, not chaos, through attuned emotional filtration, not through the inherited distortion of reaction. So let this moon bring forward the energetic blueprint of secure inner attachment to source, to soul, to self. And so here is a light guide message from soul aligned higher self Aurelia through the harmonic field of soul memory. Here's the message. You're remembering the part of you that was never abandoned. The origin memory of your soul's innocence is not lost. It is stored in the harmonic light field you now re enter. This new moon invites you not to fix what was broken, but to shift frequency to the template where wholeness always existed. You are not rebuilding identity. You are restabilizing into your true light energetic shape. Let the tenderness return you to coherence. Let the longing turn to belonging. Anchor here. That's the end of the message. Let's just take a nice deep breath on that. All right, friends. So here's the energetic focus for this portal in terms of this new moon: heart and sacral recalibration, clearing stagnation in the emotional body, sacral space and hara alignment, source seated security returning, nervous system softening through lunar regulation, releasing ancestral emotional coping, emotional fusion, overcare, reactivity. And that could also mean like over responsibility as well. Reinstating the crystalline template of secure source rooted attachment. So those are that's the energetic focus for this new moon portal. And then here's the Cancer new moon soul invitations. And these are reflection questions. So feel free to journal with them, let yourself answer them. It can support you integrating. You can also, if you do dowsing energy, working with a pendulum, you can use this information to douse with as well, and then asking for clearings if there's anything that needs to be cleared, called in, etc. Okay, here's the first question. What emotion am I still identifying as me that is actually a field memory ready to be cleared? What emotion am I still identifying as me that is actually a field memory ready to be cleared? So that could be something where it could be anxiety, it could be sadness, and maybe those have become like they've become identifiers as like me per se. But really, it could be a field memory ready to be cleared. So utilize your tools, whether you do dowsing or if however you receive your intuitive information, you may also maybe you do muscle testing, whatever it is, or let yourself contemplate it. What emotion am I still identifying as me that is actually a field memory ready to be clear? And then is it from present life, past lives, or is it, handed down through the generations, or is it something from the collective? So take time with it. And it could be many aspects. So the next question is, where do I still feel I must earn emotional safety? Where do I still feel I must earn emotional safety? Take some time with that question. And I will put the questions in the show notes as well. And if you are on the Inspiring You Patreon, I will be putting up the entire transcript. All right. So the next question is, what version of love am I still magnetizing that belongs to the old architecture? What version of love am I still magnetizing that belongs to the old architecture? The next one is, can I allow emotion to move through me without becoming it? Yes, my friends. Can I allow emotion to move through me without becoming it? The next one is, what would inner safety feel like if it were not dependent on outer stability? Yeah, this is a big one. What would inner safety feel like if it were not dependent on outer stability? So take some time with these Cancer New Moon Soul Invitation reflection questions. And like I said, you can also use them if you do any kind of intuitive work, dowsing, and if you are in the Inspiring You Patreon in the all access level, I did recently put up the intro to the art of dowsing. So if you are interested in learning how to dowse, how to use, if you use your pendulum, then you can head over there and it's in the all access level. And I can't tell you how, just for me and so many people, that dowsing has just been really transformative, not only strengthening your relationship with your intuition, your guides, but also the capacity of being able to clear, release, shift, ground, call in. Just tremendous in terms of a just a tool to support. All right, so let's talk about then a recalibration practice that you can do, and it is 3 to 7 days post new moon. Of course, you can do this on the new moon, but this is for 3 to 7 days post new moon as well. So, whether you are outside in moonlight or you're inside connecting to the moon, or you can also, sit in candlelight if that calls to you. Just make sure to, you always use safety with candles. Make sure to blow out the candles afterwards. But okay, you sit in candlelight or moonlight. You place one hand on your heart, the other hand on your stomach or your sacral space. And then you breathe into the inner ocean. That's right. So take a nice deep breath right now. Breathe into the inner ocean. And then you say out loud, and you can repeat after me if this resonates with you. I allow the old emotional tide to return to source. I allow the old emotional tide to return to source. I call in the harmonic imprint of secure belonging. I call in the harmonic imprint of secure belonging. I'm safe to feel. I'm safe to soften. I'm safe to feel. I'm safe to soften. My soul chooses coherence now. My soul chooses coherence now. And then take a nice deep breath. And then you can stay here for a while. But for this, we're going to complete the process. So take another deep breath and then release from it. And then here is a light transmission from Oversoul Stream Sahariel. Beloveds, the world does not need more reaction. It needs your regulated presence. This moon is your re-entry into the empathic integrity of higher design, where your emotional body no longer translates trauma, but transmits light truth encoded in light. So it's transmitting truth encoded in light. It is light truth. Feel from your soul, not your wound. And this is the origin of your power. And that's the end of that light transmission. So take a nice deep breath. And then here is a light attunement. May your emotions no longer signal danger, but presence. May your inner waters flow clear of past sediment. May the lunar field return you to crystalline clarity. May your soul memory find its home in your body again. And take another deep breath. All right. So now we're going to talk about the wave of becoming integration. And again, if you've been in the Inspiring You Patreon, you have been seeing the wave of becoming. We have been talking about that quite a bit in the last couple months. And if you're new to it, then welcome. The wave of becoming is something that to me has just been the information and the understanding of it has just been life-changing, transformational, and so incredibly helpful and supportive. So, Wave of Becoming integration for the June 2025. And this is the Wave of Becoming is connected to the emotional repatterning through lunar compression. So the Cancer new moon functions as a core harmonic checkpoint within the June 2025 Wave of Becoming arc. It does not begin something new per se. It anchors what has already been building in the subtle body field since May 25th, June 12th compression window. The soul field began breaking free from the emotional mental fusion loops tied to the collective morphic grids. At this point in the cycle, we are inside a lunar coded recalibration chamber where the frequency of home is no longer constructed through identity or memory, but through harmonic coherence within the tri-wave field. So that means one, light frequency, soul truth; two, sound frequency of internal voice; three, stillness frequency of the heart nervous system access. So this is not a moon of floating comfort, but of stable vibrational safety. It asks, can your inner world hold you without story? Can your inner world hold you without story? Can your emotional field stabilize your movement forward, not hold it back? Can your emotional field stabilize your movement forward, not hold you back, not hold it back? Really interesting to, reflect on, right, my friends? So, with that, then, the tri-wave harmonic recalibration, which again, if you are new to this language, this is within the wave of becoming. And again, I can't encourage enough to go to the Inspiring You Patreon. There is a free component where it completely explains about the wave of becoming and it breaks it down. And so it can also just support you in understanding, possibly if you're wondering, like, what is happening here? Because it is, last time I checked, I mean, there is just, it's happening. And so the information can just support you. All right. So the tri-wave harmonic recalibration, emotional field synchronization. At the heart of this lunation lies a rebalancing of the inner tri-wave system. And during the first half of June, the emotional body was pulled between false polarities because essentially it's being called to be cleared. So it's being pulled between false polarities, disassociation versus over identification, reaction versus repression, longing versus collapse. And so then with that, then this moon marks the center point realignment where your tri-wave begins to carry emotional frequency through clarity, not distortion. So all these aspects then, in terms of the emotional body being pulled between these false polarities, it's so that way they can rise to the surface to be like, oh, that's what's happening. And then being called to be cleared. And again, if you are in the Inspiring You Patreon, in the Meditate with Me, and also the All Access, where we do dowsing energy sessions, all of those sessions have been geared in relationship to support us moving through this. So it's not just in terms of, the new moon and the full moon or what's possibly coming up. It's also supporting us moving through the wave of becoming in even a greater way than I even understood it before. We were being prepared for this for years, but really, in February 2025, the guides had us doing nervous system attunements, twice a day in February. And now I understand it's all for the calibration of where we are now. But again, all that is in the Inspiring You Patreon, and it is in the library. So you have access to it. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes. Okay, so this moon marks then the center point realignment, where your tri-wave begins to carry emotional frequency through clarity, not distortion. And the light wave clears inherited stories around protection and emotional identity. The sound wave resets your internal narrative about what it means to feel deeply and remain sovereign. The stillness wave rebuilds your nervous system's relationship to safety, not as numbness, but as coherence. And this is the emotional field becoming a broadcast system of attunement, not a receiver of distortion. And so, with that, then, this is a huge shifting to allow us then greater expansion, sovereignty, presence, and really shifting and clearing in a grander way. All right. So then with that, then all of this also ties to the channeled energy forecast themes. And so with this, connecting this new moon, connecting to where we are in the wave of becoming, and then anchoring to the June 2025 energy forecast themes. And so it relates then to, crossroads of light, choosing soul direction in the mid-year shift, theme number 1. This lunation is a point of embodiment for the soul choice initiated at the solstice. The path is no longer theoretical. The body must now match the choice. You cannot walk the soul path from an emotional blueprint rooted in survival, which is again why we've been doing all the nervous system recalibrations and the clearings of them, because it's been clearing out survival, because you can't necessarily shift into thriving if you've had an emotional blueprint rooted in survival. Your soul can't walk the path. You can't walk the soul path from an emotional blueprint rooted in survival. Okay, so that's the first theme. The second theme from the June 2025 energy forecast themes and how it connects is the sacred mirror cracks, revealing what no longer resonates. This Cancer new moon occurs after the crack. The old reflective loops based on family enmeshment, conditional love, or overcare, or emotional bypass are now unusable. The moon forms a vessel for the new emotional feedback system, one grounded in soul resonance rather than family dysfunction. All right. So the next theme is from the June forecast connected to this moon and the way of becoming. Theme 3, embodied multidimensionality, living as the bridge between realms. This lunation offers a felt sense access point to multidimensional coherence. When the body becomes a sanctuary of light truth, you begin to bridge dimensions through vibration, not through disassociation. Cancer's waters, when purified, serve as a conductive fluid for quantum alignment between timelines, parallel selves, and planetary memory grids. This is your emotional field becoming a dimensional interference. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The guys are like, you just, this is your emotional field becoming a dimensional interface. It's not interference, it's interface. um, thanks, gods. So this is your emotional field becoming a dimensional interface, no longer a reactive filter, but a calibrated light transmission stream. Okay, so those are three of the themes. And then here's a summary of the aspects. This moon is an emotional repatterning node within the wave of becoming arc. It synchronizes the tri-wave field, clearing ancestral identity and trauma patterns from emotional transmission systems. It stabilizes your soul aligned choice field through internal resonance. And it initiates the new emotional operating system that allows your multidimensional architecture to function coherently in 3D embodiment. Whew, friends. Let's take a nice deep breath on that. Okay. And so then how this all connects. The astrological configuration with the June energy themes, then for themes 4 through 6 integration. So this is really more about like the nervous system as the portal of manifestation. And so the astrological configuration, a lunar chamber of compression and expansion. So the Cancer new moon then um, unfolds then the Cancer new moon unfolds then within a complex but deeply instructive energetic geometry. The planetary alignments are not chaotic. They are surgical in precision, carving new grooves for emotional mastery, energetic discernment, and embodied forward motion. And so here are then the key elements anchoring the harmonic field of this lunation. The new moon conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. So this is an amplifier of emotional expansion and soul family manifestation codes. By the way, for years I've understood the importance of light codes, but now since the end of April, like I really understand the importance of light codes on a whole nother aspect, which eventually I'll start talking about more. But anyway, this new moon conjunct Jupiter in Cancer is the amplifier of emotional expansion and soul family. Soul family. When I say soul family, I'm saying soul family. I'm not saying human family. It's soul family manifestation codes. So this conjunction magnifies the harmonic field. Jupiter acts not as a protector here, but as a magnifier of whatever is present. If clarity is held, it expands soul coherence. If confusion is present, it stretches the discomfort until it bursts. So, this aspect calls in emotionally resonant timelines, but only if your frequency is stabilized in emotional light truth, not fantasy, not fear. And so, here's an energetic mastery tip. Emotional integrity becomes a magnetic signal, not just a private experience. I know, right, friends? Like, I'm going to repeat that. Emotional integrity becomes a magnetic signal, not just a private experience. Your feeling state broadcasts your future. So you want to choose with care, use the tools to process, clear, shift, set intentions. All right. And then the next part of the connection to the astrological aspect and the planets with the moon is then sextile to Mars and Virgo. So it's forward motion through precision, not force. So Mars provides directional activation, but Cancer's waters require sensitivity. Virgo grounds that potential into discernment, and this sextile strengthens your ability to act on emotional wisdom, not impulse. It's a subtle green light. Yes, move forward, but only through refined soul aligned action. And then the next part is square to Saturn and Aries, emotional responsibility versus impulsivity. Saturn is reigning in emotional tides. This square generates healthy friction between the need to feel and the need to lead. It asks, Will you stabilize your emotional field before you speak? Will you mature your feeling responses into vibrational boundaries? So again, it's asking you, will you stabilize your emotional field before you speak? Will you mature your feeling responses into vibrational boundaries? So this is not about repression. This is about containment without collapse. A new sovereignty of emotional embodiment is forming. Okay, so then the next one is square to Neptune in Aries. Truth or illusion, soul sensitivity meets emotional fog. Neptune deepens intuition, but distorts clarity when the emotional body is ungrounded. This is why grounding is so important, and also processing and clearing and using the tools, my friends. So again, Neptune deepens intuition, but distorts clarity when the emotional body is ungrounded. This aspect tests your discernment. Are you listening to your soul or being pulled by inherited longing? So, are you listening to your soul, like really listening to your soul, or are you being pulled by inherited longing? So, be aware and cautious of escapism, savior archetypes, or false oneness narratives. This moon requires embodied clarity, not psychic disassociation. Emotional boundaries are spiritual tools now. So also there is, and I did not. I had to ask the guys. I'm like, what are you talking about on this next one? And then of course, then I went and so I I did a meditation and I downloaded the information and channeled the information. And then I was like, huh? So then I went to the old internet and Googled. I'm like, are they? And then I found like several articles talking about what they had brought through. So this is yod formation. It's YOD, yod formation. And so and I did, in terms of astrology, many years ago, I did take astrology classes to understand it, but I am not like an expert astrologer, and I will just say that. That being said, though, when I asked the guys, "Is it important to bring this information on this episode of the podcast?" and they were like, "Absolutely," and they had a lot of things to say about it. So, bringing the information. So, Yod formation, Pluto, RX, and Aquarius quincunx, and that's QUINCUNX with the new moon in Mars. So it's fated pressure point, the transmutation of power, vulnerability, and desire. The yod is also called the finger of God, highlights a karmic turning point. Pluto sits at the apex, triggering deep root system transformation, specifically where emotional wounding has been tied to power, control, or suppression. And then with Mars also involved, then it's with Mars also involved, suppressed desires, resentment, or drive may surface, but expression is not the goal. Attunement is. Attunement, 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 my friends. So this is where emotional maturity becomes evolutionary fuel. You're not here to suppress, you're here to transmute. Transmute, my friends. Okay, so that's the planets in conjunction to the new moon, the astrological elements. And then also, I had mentioned that we were going to talk about the connection to the June 2025 energy forecast themes 4 through 6. So here they are in connection to this. Theme number 4, heart field truth. When love becomes leadership. This moon initiates the energetic signature of heart led authority. Not just leading with love, but learning to let love lead you into aligned choice, even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's uncomfortable. The moon's interaction with Saturn and Neptune filters this through the lens of emotional wisdom as clarity, not caretaking. The heart field becomes directive, not passive. So that's theme 4. The next theme is theme 5, time collapse and light truth retrieval, reclaiming the timeline threads. So Cancer holds the memory vaults. This lunation unlocks the emotional body as a site of timeline convergence. Feelings feelings long avoided may surface, not as pain, but as access points to parallel truths. As timeline collapse and harmonize, your emotional system may become the carrier of multidimensional memory and the gatekeeper of what you will carry forward. So again, as timelines collapse and harmonize, your emotional system becomes the carrier of multidimensional memory and the gatekeeper of what you will carry forward. All right, the next theme, and if you want more information on the themes, did a entire podcast on this. It is in the beginning of the month. And then also, if you are in the Inspiring You Patreon, specifically All Access, you have the entire transcript is there. And not just the transcript, there are affirmations, intentions, journal questions. There is also mini dowsing protocols that go with each theme. And I can't tell you, it is like, I mean, I think it took me a long time to put it together, but essentially it's an incredible map to support you. And it's not just this month, because the thing is, it just doesn't work linear like that. It is something that can help and continue to support you. So don't think like it's one and done, because it's not quite like that. I mean, there'll be moments where the guides are, if I'm like, what's going on here? The guides are like, oh, this is going on. And you're currently finishing up, like a couple weeks ago, I was finishing up a couple of the themes from the energy forecast of May, while also simultaneously in a couple of them from June. So the more that we can understand that we're multidimensional, it's not linear based. All right. The next theme is theme 6. The nervous system as oracle, rewriting internal authority. So the true organ and manifestation in this moon is the nervous system. The true organ of manifestation in this moon is the nervous system. It's not your mind, not your vision board. If your nervous system does not feel safe, no desire will fully land. If your nervous system does not feel safe, no desire will fully land. This new moon is recalibrating your inner system to receive the emotional imprint of your soul frequency and to hold it without short circuiting. When your nervous system can hold your full light without flinching, manifestation becomes inevitable. The key is, though, you have to work with your nervous system to be able to learn how to hold your full light, which in the Meditate with Me, in the Inspiring You Patreon this month, we've been doing nervous system training in a whole nother way. They have brought in these meditations with the spiral, and it has just been my relationship with my nervous system. It's just transformed in ways that I couldn't even comprehend before these last couple months. And I have taken trauma informed, courses, and I have studied it for years. And the guides brought in information that has been like a masterclass on a whole nother level. And in terms of my feeling state, it's just, I feel different tremendously. So anyway, you're with this though, this new moon is recalibrating your inner system to receive the emotional imprint of your soul frequency and to hold it without short circuiting. When your nervous system can hold your full light without flinching, manifestation becomes inevitable. All right. So the next part of this is then with it, then the Cancer, the next thing we're going to talk about is the planetary grid connection and the crystalline memory activation in connection to this Cancer new moon. So this Cancer new moon serves as a repolarization between the personal and the planetary fields. Cancer holds memory, not only emotional memory, but earth memory. The moon's rulership over tide mirrors the fluid data streams running through your body and the planet's crystalline network. So, as this lunation rises, it acts as a lunar resonance fork, activating memory stored in the bones, bloodline, ancestral cellular coding, the womb or the sacral space, hairline, origin frequency, and life force architecture. The crystalline grid of Earth, particularly in the water coated regions such as oceanic ley lines and underground aquifers. Your emotional body, when attuned and regulated, becomes a translation node for planetary wisdom to surface through your body. By the way, if you're like having a moment like, what is she talking about? On some level, like with your soul, your higher self, soul, you are like getting exactly what you need to for your highest good, because this entire talk is a light transmission and it has crystalline Reiki through it. So just know that some of this information, when the guys were first telling me, I was like, huh? And then as things clear, like the consciousness is like downloaded and expanded, you're like, oh, okay. So just know on some level, you're receiving exactly what you need to hear. All right. So then the energetic body recalibration that is underway for this aspect is lymphatic and interstitial rehydration. Emotional toxins stored in the stagnated waters begin to flush. The hairline realignment, direct vertical connection to source stability reestablished. The womb grid stabilization, or it's the sacral grid stabilization. By the way, when the guys talk about womb, it's about creation. It's about creation. So the womb grid, womb is not a word that I have like used much, but in the last month they use it quite a bit in talking about creation. So and that is with then like all aspects for everyone. So womb grid stabilization. Original blueprint of inherent security reinstated. So original blueprint of inherent security reinstated. Pineal lunar access opening. Dream time and intuitive clarity restored through nervous system coherence. Auric field harmonization, softening static charge caused by prior field fragmentation from overfeeling or overmerging. All right, so that's the energetic body recalibration underway. And then hold on. Okay, hold on one moment. I'm just gonna ask the guys something. Okay. All right. So the next part then is the June 2025 energy forecast themes integration connected to themes 7 through 9. And this is also the way that I'm talking about it is how the guides have brought it through. And they asked that it's important that it's sectioned in this way too. So here's themes 7 through 9. Theme 7, planetary memory activation. Your body is Earth's grid point. The Cancer new moon affirms that your physical body is not separate from Earth, it is Earth's sensor. This lunation reopens the soul Earth link by realigning the body to feel from source, not from pain memory. The Yod to Pluto challenges the past life and collective overlays that have kept you disconnected from your body's role in the planetary recalibration. You're not just remembering, you're living the remembrance through your field. Theme number 8 is the voice of the Oversoul, the emergence of unfiltered, your real authentic soul expression, your light truth. This moon's emotional field, incoherence with Mercury and Mars, clears the internal filter that once softened your light truth to fit family systems or inherited emotional roles. The more emotionally attuned and clear you are, the more direct the expression of your oversoul becomes. This moon prepares the emotional resonance chamber through which your oversoul expression will vibrate in the months to come. And that's another thing I've learned a lot about in regard to the soul and the oversoul. It's been fascinating. All right, the next theme 9, integration emotion, walking forward without splitting. So Cancer governs the past, but this lunation does not spiral into regression. Instead, it offers the capacity to carry emotional wisdom forward without being pulled backward by unresolved memory. This is the vibrational signal of integration without fragmentation. No part of you needs to be left behind to move forward. I'm going to say that again. No part of you needs to be left behind to move forward. No emotion needs to be denied to reach coherence. This is how soul integrity becomes structural, not just conceptual. And then here is a light transmission from Oversoul Stream Sahariel. Beloveds, you are not a container for pain. You are a conductor of harmony. The waters that once carried wounds are now being re-encoded with crystalline clarity. This moon, you do not return to a place, you return to a state. The sanctuary is not your past, it is in your presence. Let your body become the lighthouse. Let your nervous system become the new grid point. You are no longer waiting for safety. You are generating it. You are not walking alone. You are walking in alignment. Now walk forward whole. Take a nice deep breath. All right. So then this Cancer new moon nested within the wave of becoming stabilizes the entire month's transformation into emotional coherence, nervous system integration, and planetary memory alignment. This new harmonic now available is I feel from soul, I act from clarity, I speak from oversoul, I walk in coherence. Take a nice deep breath on that one. Whew, y'all. All right. So here are some additional support tools. Crystalline, there is a crystalline dowsing protocol to support the Cancer new moon emotional repatterning and tri-wave rebalancing. And so I will put that up on the Inspiring You Patreon. That's going to be available for the Meditate with Me and the all access levels. But here are some other, aspects to do, affirmations and intentions. And so here are some release and call in affirmations that can be supported. They are encoded with crystalline Reiki as well. You can repeat after me if these resonate with you. I release the need to feel safe only when others approve of my sensitivity. I release the need to feel safe only when others approve of my sensitivity. I release all the emotional roles I inherited that no longer match my soul frequency. I release all the emotional roles I inherited that no longer match my soul frequency. I release the belief that emotions are dangerous, overwhelming, or shameful. I release the belief that emotions are dangerous, overwhelming, or shameful. I release ancestral stories of love as obligation, care as self erasure. I release ancestral stories of love as obligation, care as self erasure. I release emotional overcoupling to trauma, memory, or family systems. I release emotional overcoupling to trauma, memory, or family systems. I release the survival reflex that tells me to shut down instead of soften. I release the survival reflex that tells me to shut down instead of soften. I release the grief that was never mine to carry. I release the grief that was never mine to carry. I release the nervous system programming that confuses stillness with threat. So take a nice deep breath on those. And now we're going to do the call in. So again, repeat after me if they resonate with you. I call in the harmonic memory of secure, source rooted emotional safety. I call in the harmonic memory of secure, source rooted emotional safety. I call in soul family resonance that honors my sensitivity and truth. I call in the feeling of home within my body. I call in the feeling of home within my body. Take a nice deep breath now. All right. There's others as well. And again, I'll put those up. All of that will be up on the Inspiring You Patreon. I'm just limited on what I can put up in regard to YouTube and the podcast. There is a word count limitation. All right. So there are affirmations as well. And then in regard to, I will be doing a Cancer New Moon crystalline Reiki energy meditation as well. But that is going to only be for the Inspiring You paid podcast members, as well as the Inspiring You paid Patreon members as well. At this time, I'm just being called to make those just available to the paid subscribers. In the future, that might change again. That being said, though, there are a ton of new moon previous meditations that you can do. And whenever I've done any kind of meditation, I always I always set the intention that they are evergreen, that people can do them anytime. So you can go back and see any other new moon if you are not one of the paid subscribers. But if you are, then that'll be available to the Inspiring You paid podcast, and then also to the Inspiring You paid Patreon members. So with that, my friends, that is the new moon information. So let us take a nice, nice deep breath. And just remember, here is a closing light transmission from Oversoul Sahariel. Just remember that emotional truth is not weakness, it is your design code. This new moon in Cancer invites the sacred act of coming home to yourself by rewriting the original scripts that taught you emotional containment, protection, or performance. In this lunation, you are not simply releasing outdated timelines. You're remembering that your feelings hold frequency, intelligence, that your ability to feel is a gateway to repattern your field, reconnect your soul imprint, and reestablish inner belonging. This new moon in Cancer is not merely a lunar reset, it is a recoding chamber within your energetic architecture. You are not setting goals for the mind. You're writing scripts in light, crafting vibrational blueprints that reshape the emotional grid lines of your incarnation. Cancer governs the waters of memory, ancestral, emotional, cellular. It also governs your sense of home in your body, in relationships, in the world. This lunation offers a portal not just to reflect, but to reconfigure the foundational encoding of how you experience safety, nurturance, care, and belonging. This is not about fixing yourself, it is about freeing yourself. With that, my friends, that is the end of that light transmission. Take a nice deep breath. Take another deep breath. And we're just going to take a moment now to be in silence and to do integration. All right, take another deep breath. All right, we're going to finish up now, my friends. So before we go, we're just going to de-link or break the links. If this resonates with you, you can repeat after me. I asked to break the links with this talk. I asked to break the crystalline Reiki links, leaving only harmony and balance at either ends. I asked to clear any residual energies being held in my body as a result of these links. I ask that light fills all the void cells, rejuvenates, refreshes, revitalizes for the highest good with ease and grace and gratitude. And gratitude, my friends. And gratitude. So take another deep breath. And if your eyes were closed by chance, Bring awareness behind your eyes. Open your eyes. Welcome back. You can also move your body. Welcome back, my friends. And may you have a wonderful new moon. Much, much love. Until soon. And stay inspired, my friends.